in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heard someone say it's a real good manipulation technique to get kids to pay attention to what you're saying, which I tried it on a senior, and it worked on them, so I'm pretty sure it'll just work on everybody. Just trying to get your attention real quick. What do we got here? We got a handle shaping, well, tongue shaping, which is strange. You know, when I think of tongue, all I can think of is a cow's tongue and street tacos and stuff. You ever had a cow tongue taco? Cow tongue, cow tongue. Sounds like a great city in China. You ever hear the walled, I think it's called the walled city of Kowloon? My God, what the fuck were they thinking? This is like the most densely populated area ever, probably. Just guessing, but there was thousands of people in there, and it was like stacked on haphazardly living spaces. And there's a famous picture of I think the mailman there. It was like a maze, and in a lot of places there was no light coming in. You were just like in the canopy was fucking shitty storage containers. I don't know how they made it, but it was torn down, just like your favorite GameStop. Fucking gamers, fucking gamers. There is a good chance that some of the people that watch this are gamers because it's on the internet. People that don't play games, a lot less likely to be on the internet, I say. Yeah, let's get back to this actual work I'm doing here. So right now I'm on the back of the tongue, and that's to get the hang more closed. So basically what that means is the bit is either tilted upwards or tilted down. When it's tilted down, it's a closed hang. When it's tilted up, it's an open hang. It's pretty simple. You'll see me kind of try to pull it to the right way. And yeah, banging on. This is the funnest part about the whole thing because I made the mallet. I made the handle. I told the axe head nice stuff. I didn't make the axe head, but I was giving it nice like compliments. If you're not going to compliment the tool, who is? You know, just it's your child. Alright, anyway, what am I doing here? What is it, still stuck in the eye? I think I'm taking it out, right? Oh, I'm trying to do, so this is pretty dumb. Usually you do this on a known flat surface. I'm trying surface. I just slurred through surface. When I was about 3 years old, I was a professional boxer, so the brain damage finally getting to me. Yeah, I was trying to do the check to see how closed or open the hang is. I was doing it in a dumb way. Anyway, you put it on a flat surface and you see where the bit touches from you know, the bottom of the handle hitting the flat surface and then the bit. And usually you want it about halfway to 1/3 down the heel. But you know, different axes have different designs and different purposes. So here's how I do this when the tongue is not too high up in the axe head. I put a metal drift in, which is just a piece of flat bar, a very soft piece of metal that's flat bar. It's what I suggest. Axe Yankee told me to get this, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Way better than buying a very expensive drift that's not even specific. It's not designed to knock out axe handles. Drifts are usually designed to shape the eye. So I guess it would depend on which kind you get. I'm sure there's different kinds of drifts. Because of the stage I'm at in this handle and this tongue, I'm being a lot more careful, and I'm trying to get contact all the way around, so I'm not being rough with the cuts. This little strap, this four-sided strap, is a powerful weapon. A very powerful weapon that I love using this. It's just a cheap piece of leather and a free piece of lumber from my own stash. I definitely noticed that it's much easier to use a draw knife with this fine types of work on a surface that's smooth. So if there's big bumps and humps, you got to knock those down first, and everything will go much smoother if there's already a kind of gradual taper going on that's smooth. So if you're wondering how fast are some vices, I mean, it depends. I'm barely opening it and barely closing it. I've gotten really used to this vice too, so I'm pretty quick now. Now that's bushcraft. I don't really care about how the tongue looks like inside of the axe head, as long as there's nothing that's gonna like be a problem, which it almost never is, to just leave little lines where it's not perfectly smooth. Um, I guess you could argue it might take up space and the head might not be as secure as it could be, but you'd have to leave really big pieces in there, I think, of shaved off wood, maybe, for that to make sense. Even that, the wood is still stuck in there like a shim, so I don't really get that. The wood will conform a little bit to the metal. Metal is way harder. At this stage of shaping the handle tongue, you're being very careful. So I'm not removing a lot of material. I'm so close to the end, you may as well make it so the last, like, maybe half inch, maybe a little bit more of the tongue is actually going to fit in that eye and be pressed up against it, because the wedge is not doing a lot of pulling apart of the kerf, the wood on the other side, both sides of the kerf at the bottom, unless you do a really good job shaping the kerf and the wedge. I just don't. I just think that most of that is contact already, and maybe the last 3/4 of the tongue is what is getting wedged, kinda. Well, when I say the tongue, I mean 3/4 of what is after the start of the kerf. I like to really fucking hammer the bottom of that handle to get that head on as best I can. I don't mess around. It's on tight when I do this, so the bottom of the handle is prone to breaking if you're not careful with chamfering and where you hit it and how you hit it and what you hit it with. I'm not sure if the mallet's the best thing to hit it with. I've broken two handles this way. I believe it only once with the mallet, and I've used the mallet on a lot of hangs. Not just one mallet, many different mallets. This mallet right here is probably the biggest one I've used. Has a pretty large face. It's at least 3x3. So everything's getting contacted if I wanted to when it comes to the bottom of this well. I've already shown getting the handle out, but since the tongue is so high up in the eye now, I go to the jaw horse. It's really an awesome way to get a handle out, and I use the drift and hammer, the same thing. Sped the footage up here, but on that other side, I try to remove material just below the contact, but on this side I'm removing it above the contact, and that's because of how the axe head was tilted on the handle. You don't need fancy tools to hang an axe. I mean, I'm just banging it on the ground, and you could finish it like that, but I like to really make sure with the hamlet. Yeah, I like to make sure with the mallet here that it's really nice and snug, and it's not going anywhere. And you could swing it this axe over and over again for a while without it loosening up. But that just shows how good friction can be with wood to metal. A lot of shovels, you know, they'll just have a pin in them, but without that pin they'd also stay right where they are supposed to be. And again, what is that called again? I know that chisels have that hole as well, just like a shovel. It's a tapered hole. But anyway, we're getting some progress done here. Life is about finding kind of the repetition you like, and I enjoy this, so it's almost meditative to find the thing that you like repeating over and over again. Maybe you don't exactly like the repetition, but you like what the repetition can produce. So I like that I can make a piece of wood into lumber, and then make that lumber into a tool handle. Just really gets my stuff going. Gets my giblets. You know how there's testicular torsion? It untwists my torsion. My tubes are tied up. My tubes are all jumbled up. Well, making a handle unties my tubes. So if I got a mastectomy, I think that's how you say it. If I got a mastectomy, and getting hung up on dumb shit. Anyway, if I get a mastectomy, I could just make a axe handle and then fixes my tubes right up. So the tongue is at the top of the eye now, as you can see. This white oak branch right here with the leaves fell right on this red oak stump. And I just made a white oak handle, so I figured let's christen it with a little one-handed chop. It's a good one. Dayton pattern, plum 3-2. Looks okay. Still gotta do a few things, and maybe I'll either take some of the shoulder off or I'll move it down a little more.